Time to check off another king. Let's go! Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Zach with Zacks Books, and today I've got for you another Stephen King reading vlog. I decided to pick a newer book by him. Newer, I think it was within the past 5 years. But I wanted to do this one because a lot of people talked about it, and I have also already read If It Bleeds, which is like a sequel, I believe, to this book. And because when they talk about it, they kept mentioning like The Outsider. So there's my title. So the reading vlog I'm going to be doing is The Outsider by Stephen King. And I mean, based off of If It Bleeds, the only thing I can really go off of with this is that there's like some entity that like takes form of like another person, and like there can be two people at the same time. So it's not quite like Who Goes There, The Thing, where that entity actually like sucks you into it and like absorbs you and like becomes you. Then there's only one of you because it kills the other person. This, I want to say, it's going to be something that can just like copy you, and then there's two people that look the same. So that sounds really interesting, and if it's like If It Bleeds, I'm just hoping it doesn't spoil it for me. That's the biggest concern I have with having read If It Bleeds, is that The Outsider might get spoiled, but I don't think so. As long as I just know the plot, the basic idea of there being like some kind of creature that copies a person and becomes that person, I mean, I don't really think it's going to spoil anything, so hopefully it doesn't. But a lot of people have been talking about this one, and I think it's about time I read a newer one, and I'm pretty excited to read this one and get into it, and we're going to get this thing started. I also want to give a quick shout out to two people. One of them, I'm going to give a shout out to Lorene for getting The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. This was on my Amazon wish list, and she got it for me, so I'm pretty excited. Thank you, Lorene. I hope I'm saying that right. Lorene or Lauren. I think it's Lorene. Sorry. But yeah, thank you. Awesome. Can't wait to give this a read, and I'll let you know what I think about it. You said in your note that you like this author, so I'll give it a read, and I'll let you know what I think. And the next person I want to shout out is Natasha. She messaged me on Instagram and gifted me The Wastelands paperback by Stephen King, which this is a pretty cool paperback, and I really like the design and the artwork and stuff on it, and the artwork on the inside is really cool too. I know I've been on the hunt for a Wastelands hardcover for a while, and so she knows that I've been looking for a hardcover. Obviously it's not a hardcover, but it's a Wastelands book, and I'm really grateful for the gift, Natasha, so thank you so much. And I did not have this, and I'm pretty excited for it because it's got the missing artwork that is not in the paperback version that I think is in the hardcover version, so pretty cool stuff. Thank you, Natasha. Also, quick one more thing. I'm going to be kind of doing like a time lapse of the first little bit because I'm going to be building a shelf for a library. The Stephen King room is now being switched to just a pure like library. Obviously all my King books are still going to be in there, but my wife and I decided that we're going to be growing our collection besides King, and so we're going to be making it more like a full-on library. So once that room is like done and set up, I'll probably put a post on my Instagram with it. Check that out down below. We'll have that Instagram page tag down below. I don't know when it's going to be ready, but you'll see it eventually, and I hope it's going to look pretty cool. So, alright, with those thank yous out of the way, it's now time to start The Outsider. So let's get to it, and I'll see you guys in the next clip. guys, I'm on page 76 of The Outsider, and it's been pretty good so far. Coach T, which was the baseball coach during the game at the beginning, was arrested for being accused of raping a child and then killing him. And you're kind of getting different perspectives in the first little section here from different people who might have seen him. He was at like they call it a titty bar. And they were talking to the bouncer. They called themselves security. And they were talking to one of the guys there, the taxi driver, someone else who saw him during the night. And they're kind of asking him, like, how did he seem? And he seemed a little weird. A lot of people kept saying he seemed off. He didn't seem normal. And so I unfortunately read the story from If It Bleeds before I read this. So I can already make the assumption that this person is an outsider. It's not a normal person. Which, it's not going to spoil it for me. I'm still going to really enjoy the book, I guarantee it. But having read the story If It Bleeds, the story is called If It Bleeds, is kind of like a sequel, kind of like a runoff from The Outsider. So I already kind of have a general idea of how The Outsider works. It's like an entity, it's like a spirit type like being that can like shapeshift into something else and like pretty much possess the exact same traits like perfectly. And so that's kind of what happened in The Outsider, or in If It Bleeds. The entity that it was kept, being different people and throwing people off. And so in The Outsider, I'm going to make the assumption that the person that all the other people saw was the outsider, not actually Coach T, Terry. And Coach T is actually innocent. Now, I'm on page 76, and there's over about 500 and something pages in this. So I still have ways to go, but I am already really enthralled and excited with this book. So we're going to keep it going, and we're going to see where we go from here, and we'll see you guys in the next clip. Alright guys, I'm on page 191 of The Outsider, and Coach T, Terry, they're going to a courthouse, or they're coming out of the courthouse, because obviously he's still being held, captive or under suspicion of committing the rape murder against Frankie, who was a little kid. And you find out that Frankie's mother also died. I think it was a heart attack, they said, or heart failure. And so she's dead, and Frankie's brother, I forgot his name, is accusing Terry of everything. And so he shows up to pretty much try and kill Terry at the courthouse steps, which Terry should have worn the bulletproof vest that they provided for him before he went out, but he decided against it, so he didn't. And so he goes out, and he's with his wife, the detective Ralph, and he ultimately ends up getting shot. And the detective goes up to him, while he's laying there, he's like, "Clear your conscience, let's just admit you did it." And Ralph is like, I didn't do it. I have a clean conscience. What are you going to do about yours? Pretty much meaning, like, you killed an innocent man by keeping him captive, even though he's proven to you and told you that he did not commit this murder. And you kept him there anyway. And so now it's like, ball's in your court. Now are you going to clear your conscience now? Because you basically murdered a man without, any evidence. However, lo and behold, you're pretty much, like I said, I read If It Bleeds, so I already kind of know that there is a doppelganger person out there imitating Terry. And so it's kind of like The Thing, or Who Goes There. That's the book version, where the Thing can imitate something perfectly. And so they found, samples of everything of Terry at the scene of the crime. But at the same time, they also found evidence that he was at some book convention thingy with a bunch of other teachers. So it's kind of like, who's right? And so I'm figuring that Terry, the one who's at the book place, is the one who just died. knowing full well he is innocent. However, something's going to happen now, I feel, where the other Terry's going to pop up. People are going to be confused, or going to think it's actually the good one, or like they're going to realize, shoot, there's two of them. But I'm anxious to know where it goes from here, because the original one, the original Terry, just got shot and he died. And so if Doppelganger Terry arrives, I just want to see where it goes from there, because it's going to add some interesting aspects to the story, I feel like. So, but yeah, so far The Outsider's been pretty good, and I'm really enjoying it. And we'll see you guys in the next clip. Alright, so I'm on page 411 of The Outsider, and I'm really liking the book, which is weird because this is sort of like a crime book, and I really did not like Colorado Kid, so this is like, it's weird. But it's got that creepy aspect to it, because Holly, which is the girl from the Bill Hodges trilogy, which I have not read, is now involved in this, and she's helping Ralph kind of figure out what's going on. You know, maybe there is an outsider. I think, like I said, I did not read the Hodges trilogy, so I don't know if like these outsider people are involved in that, because she's quick to presume that it's an outsider. So I don't know if that's mentioned in the Bill Hodges stuff or not, but she's quick to make the assumption that it is like a doppelganger, an outsider who like does this, but she like doesn't want to like say it up front quite yet. She wants to wait a little bit. But it's been weird, and I'm excited to finish it. This will be a good one. I'm hoping the ending is a lot better than the Colorado Kid book, almost in general, because they're both crimes, and this one has just got like, this one feels more like a Stephen King crime book, because there's that like supernatural aspect to the book, whereas the Colorado Kid was just kind of like a crime. You know, if this was just like a second person doing it, like, yeah, whatever, but with it being like something that can like shapeshift into like another person's form, that just kind of makes it like Stephen King. So I'm really liking it, and I'm excited to get to the end. So we'll see you guys in the next clip. Alright guys, so I finished The Outsider, and I really liked it. It was actually better. Ended up being a way better crime book than Colorado Kid was, and it had some weird aspects to it. It was pretty much what I thought it was going to be after reading If It Bleeds. I did read this, it's not in a set order, but I did read it technically out of order, so I kind of already knew what The Outsider was, with it being a shape-shifting like creature or entity thingy, and it took the shape of Ted, the guy from the beginning, and it didn't go too well. They caught on to it. Holly, Ralph, the lawyer, I forgot what his name was, but he ended up, he died, which was unfortunate, but he did it to prove his client innocent, and that's pretty much what ended up happening. They talked to a bunch of the like politician type people, and they pretty much got away with the investigation still going on. It's not set in stone that it was this guy who did it, and it was pretty cool. I really liked it. I would say I would give it 4.5 stars. I don't quite think it hits the 5 for me, just because it wasn't quite what I would consider like a King ending, where it leads into what is going to happen like future wise. It is mentioned towards the end. The outsider is asking, "Have you seen other ones like me?" So it kind of makes it seem like it is like an alien race that comes here and can duplicate a person that they see like perfectly, DNA, everything. And so that's more follow through in if it bleeds, obviously. There is another one. And so it can also be added with this that more of them are out there. So you could also kind of connect it to it being kind of like a Pennywise type of thing, where it can shapeshift. Pennywise can like shapeshift into like your biggest fear, and this thing just shapeshifts into like a person. So could they be related, of which like where they're from? Maybe, because I don't think it's really explained where these things come from. So, which is good because it leads to sequels that can come out with this. And I actually would not be disappointed if there was like a second Outsider type thing where it's more like involved with them, meaning like they go to, like the antagonist would go to them, or more of them show up, more than just like one of them. Something like that, where you're encountering more than just one outsider in the story. Like you're encountering like several of them, or 10 of them, or 100 of them, or something like that. I also kind of got the vibes of Who Goes There, which is The Thing, which is another type of creature that can imitate perfectly what it sees human-wise, or animal-wise for that matter. But yeah, overall, really good book. Really enjoyed it. 4.5 stars. A lot better than the last crime book I read by him, which was The Colorado Kid, because he mixed more of like that weird supernatural aspect into the story, and I really like that. So, Outsider, really good read. If you're interested in the book, we'll post a link down below for it if you want it. But yeah, I really liked it. Have you read The Outsider? Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Otherwise, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Later.